To obtain an immigrant visa to the US, I'm speaking first of all about visas based on family immigration. It's necessary to provide information about the American sponsor, who will take certain responsibilities for the immigrant. In this video, I will tell you what documents should be provided for the sponsorship, what to pay attention to, which form you need to fill, and how much money should have a sponsor to support the immigrant financially. Look this video to the end so as not to miss all the important points. After you get the petition approval and go to the next stage of the processing of an immigrant visa, in your profile you will see a section that refers to the sponsor and his or her certified guarantee, Form I-864. By signing that, a person gives his or her consent to provide financial support to the applicant in the process of his moving to the United States of America. It's necessary to prove that an applicant applying for a visa and then on a green card will not count on the social assistance programs from the government of the US while being in the United States. And also this certainly confirms that applicant has friends, relatives in the US who are ready to support him at least at this first time of stay in America, while immigrant will only sit down, look for accommodation and work and receive necessary documents. Take the filling of the form very seriously, because mistakes can lead to a quite serious and even negative consequences. Therefore, I recommend signing up for a consultation with a lawyer who will check your financial documents for compliance and who will help to fill out the form correctly. You can find the contacts on the link in the description. I'm often asked about the terms of such sponsorship. In fact, by signing the form, the sponsor agrees to provide financial support for an indefinite period of time. This form can lose validity only when the immigrant will receive US citizenship or, for example, will die. For example, if a husband, a citizen of the USA, sponsors his spouse because she moves to the US, but after 3 years they got divorced and the spouse has not received this citizenship yet, the husband will be financially responsible for her, even if they are not longer married. At the same time, if you take advantage of public benefits after moving, the sponsor will have to pay compensation to the US government. Who can be a sponsor? It may be any friend or relative who is a US citizen or holder of the green card, over 18 years old, has a valid address in the United States and lives in the US, and also complies with the requirements of income that amounts to at least 125% of the annual minimum subsistence standards. In the description, I will leave you a link to the table where all these amounts are already prescribed. The calculation is carried on depending on the number of people who are already or will be on the content of the sponsor. What should you do if you as a sponsor do not meet the requirements for income? You can use one of the following options. For example, add another additional sponsor who must also meet all the requirements. Or provide information on your assets, including accounts in banks, bonds, shares or property. If the total cost of these assets will be at least a 5-fold difference between income and the 125% requirement, then you have the right to act as a sponsor. Please note that if you is the current service member of the US Army and you provide support for a spouse or child, then you need to provide confirmation of only 100% of the federal subsistence level. The sponsor must fill out, sign and upload the sponsorship form I-864 or I-134 if applying for fiancé, as well as provide accompanying documents confirming income. Usually this document is the IRS transcript, which is received by each US taxpayer after submitting the tax reporting in April of each year. If the income is missing, then you will need to provide bank statements and other documents confirming the availability of necessary assets. In addition, you need to provide a document confirming the personality of the sponsor, for example, the first page of the US passport or a copy of the green card. Be ready to add documents confirming your relationship with immigrant. Also, the sponsor will have to pay a sponsorship fee in the amount of $120. The fee is paid online on the official site, and only after payment you can download the form and all the necessary documents. If we are talking about sponsorship of several immigrants, such as spouse and a child, the sponsorship fee is paid only once, because the child is an additional applicant. But at the same time, you still have to consider the amount of income, including the number of immigrants. After you upload all the necessary documents, they will be checked by the National Visa Center. Usually it takes about 4-6 weeks. NVC will surely inform you as soon as they consider the documents and will indicate whether everything is correct or it's necessary to provide any additional information. For example, if at the time of signing of an affidavit you are not in the US, you may be asked to provide proof of domicile, confirmation of the connection with the territory of the USA. This may be documents about bank accounts, property, work contracts, though everything that will prove that you is really associated with the United States and plans to fulfill your obligations for immigrant on the territory of the country. Please pay attention and discuss the question of sponsorship at the very beginning of the starting process, namely before submitting the petition. At the petition stage, these documents are not mandatory, but I often deal with the situation where the petition is approved and then it turns out that the sponsor does not have the necessary documents and everyone starts to seek an additional sponsor. The consideration of the petition usually lasts at least 5-6 months, which means that if you take care of this in advance, you will have enough time to change your financial situation, for example, find an additional job, submit tax documentation, acquire assets. If you do not know how to do the best in your situation, seek help from a lawyer who will analyze the financial capabilities of your sponsor, determine whether they meet the requirements, and give recommendations what steps you need to take to resolve your situation successfully. Remember that the petition is only the first step. At an interview for a visa, the officer will definitely ask the applicant about the sponsorship documents and will make a decision taking them into consideration. So get ready for this in advance. If you had some interesting situations associated with sponsorship, share your story with our subscribers. This information will be very interesting for those who only plan to immigrate to the United States of America. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like if this video was useful for you, and be sure to click on the bell so as not to miss new videos about visas and immigration to the United States.